Hello, good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Now, what's your thoughts on now the, as we all know, the Conjuring house been up for auction? Do you think Elton Castee and Matt Rife will buy it? I mean, I think, I think it should be get back into the community, and it'll raise money towards the community. I would actually like to see that happen as much as maybe I'd like Elton and Matt to buy it. I have before. Obviously, I'm not keen on the prices what they are charging at the War Museum, and I don't like the fact that they're checking your videos for quote facts. Well, the facts are the facts. It's just Tony doesn't want the true facts. It's really the Annabelle is not the real Annabelle and things like that, right? So now what we're going to be speaking today about is the Conjuring House. It's inside the legends of the Conjuring House ghost Abigail Arnold. Now, Abigail Arnold was a big character around that house. She was never in any of the films at all. It was Bathsheba Sherman, who they made out was a witch, due to Lorraine Warren, which was all total lies. Because due to Lorraine Warren telling porcupines, that woman's grave got destroyed, totally destroyed. Now, Abigail Arnold died in 1869 at the age of 93, and she has allegedly haunted the Conjuring House in Rhode Island ever since. Also, The Conjuring is one of the most popular horror franchises ever created, but while the films have terrified audiences for the better part of a decade now, the true horror comes from the fact that the Conjuring movies are based on true events. Now, the people before that, now if you're going into facts, true facts, dig, because not everything the parents were telling you were true either. So please do not sit and listen to that, right? Obviously, the Conjuring movie is because just made it more popular than what it is, but there was no word of Abigail Arnold. Eh, Obviously, today fans can only visit the so-called Conjuring House at the moment they can, because it is now derelict. It's abandoned because of the owner, Jacqueline Nuez, and that's why it's up for auction, because obviously she's been back and forth to court, avoided court. She's been in trouble with the police due to drink driving and is suspected on drugs. She's threatened and harassed Jason Hawes and a lot of other people, um, that started off with a person called Brian. I cannot pronounce that man's second name. I do apologise. Um, he's and she said that the spirits tell her that he was stealing money. Now, what? And he said, "Well, why don't you check the cameras?" She's like, "I don't need to check the cameras. Spirits told me that." See, that wouldn't hold up in court at all, at all, at all. She was a compulsive liar. And obviously, she made money off of Cody Satori doing the clicking noises. Do I believe that they can speak to spirits? Nah, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I think things, I'm not saying spirits are not real, but not in the way. And Abigail Arnold, no way would she tell you to bolt and all that out her house, because I think she'd understand that any spirits do know. Because once I'm going to get back to your soul, right, and you're you're in, you can contact your loved one whenever you want, and they come forward for elsewhere. That heaven isn't above in the sky. There isn't a hell down below. Heaven is within you and around you, right? God is within you, Jesus within you. Just always remember you're a spiritual person. You're a divine, you're a higher purpose, okay? So, all these religions were in and kept in to keep you brainwashed. But that's each to their own, to be honest with you. That's my personal thing because I went down the route, eh, going further down with my spiritual path. Abigail Arnold is just one of several spirits said to haunt the Burrowville, Rhode Island farmhouse, though her role there is up for debate. Described by the house's current owners as a protective presence who alerts visitors to the presence of evil spirits. Abigail allegedly used to kiss the parent children goodnight when they were living in the Conjuring house in the 1970s. So that's different from what Angela Perrin said, that she's trying to say that she was responsible for much of the terror to her family. So it's either one. See, Andrea Perrin sort of kind of came back and forth stories. So don't believe everything that woman's saying because she's still at this she's wrote books. The parents made money off that house as well. So just be careful with it and do your own digging within places when it comes to historical stuff. Do your own digging when it comes to because the people before there was somebody staying in that house said that there was people who stayed before in that house and never had a problem. Not once, never. It just got worse because of the Conjuring movies. So, I mean, as I say, Andrea is obviously trying to say it was Abigail, as I said, put them through a lot of terror. Just who was Abigail Arnold and why does her spirit allegedly haunt the Conjuring house to this day? The legend of Abigail Arnold. The Conjuring, the name Abigail Arnold never comes up, and the film instead focuses on an evil spirit of a woman named Bathsheba Sherman, who, according to the movie story, was accused of witchcraft in her lifetime, murdered her infant child, and then hanged herself from a tree in the property. Every last bit of that was totally lies. Because if you were accused of witchcraft in that time, you wouldn't be buried in a Christian graveyard. Now she's buried beside her husband and her children. What does that tell you? Again, it was, I think it's with Lorraine and Ed, they've just scammed so many people. I don't care. It's like they lied and lied and lied. Anything in that museum is not even haunted at all. Just based on lies. The majority is out of charity shops. Well, you just call it thrift shops or something. And what do you say? I'm not sure what you call it. But you don't call it charity shops. We call it charity shops here in the UK. You obviously call it something different. The Conjuring House's official website, however, does make mention of Abigail Arnold. It does state that she was the daughter of Martha Hopkins and Sylvanus Cook. In 1795, at the age of 19, she married John Arnold, a farmer and the Conjuring House's owner at the time. Together, the couple allegedly had a staggering 14 children in 22 years. A lot of children. I mean, I've got 7. Um, Raising them in the house throughout the 19th century. Abigail apparently lived to be 93. Well, on our headstone, it says 93. But according to the Conjuring House website, her spirit never left the farmhouse. The website also claims that Abigail will often warn guests to get out if a maleficent spirit is near, and ask that visitors treat her former home with respect. Now, I would believe that to respect Angry because look the whereabouts about that house. The majority of some of them is it entertaining, of course it is, right? But that house is run down. The windows need replaced. There could be some heat put into it with radiators and things like that put into it because it's freezing. Everybody complains it's cold. And not a lot of people are getting full access to the full house because when Jacqueline Nuez had it, she had it off as a for to buy merchant something to sell off. Oh, look at that, sell stuff for, or do you want that? It's just more money. It's just more money. Historical inconsistencies in the story. In 1971, the Perrin family moved into the Conjuring House. While living there, the Perrin children claimed that a ghostly lady who smelled like flowers and fruit came into their room at night to tuck them in and kiss them. Years later, the eldest daughter, Andrea Perrin, suggested that this woman may have been the ghost of Miss John Arnold or Abigail Arnold. In the Perrin's 2010 book on the alleged hauntings, House of Darkness, House of Light, she writes, only one thing is known for certain. Far more than a century ago, Miss John Arnold decided to claim her life at the age of 93 and was discovered cold and grey, stiff to the wood from which she was found dangling in the rafters. But, as Kenny Biddle wrote for the Skeptical Inquirer in 2019, historical records indicate that while a Miss John Arnold was indeed discovered after hanging herself in 1866, she was only actually 50 years old. So there's a lot of lies, as I'm saying, back and forth. Kenny Biddle, go to people like Kenny Biddle, go to people like Truth or Demons, because see when I'm saying they dig. I mean, so obviously it's like they've put up a picture and it's saying 93. I don't know where the 93, I mean, because I've read 93. As detailed on the Conjuring House website, there was another woman, Abigail Cook Arnold, who died 3 years later at the age of 93 in the Burville, Rhode Island area. However, her cause of death was simply listed as old age. Biddle suggests that the Mrs. John Arnold who hanged herself was more likely a woman named Susan Arnold, whose husband, John Arnold, had found her suspended from a wardrobe hook with a very small cord in 1866, according to her obituary. The issue with Perrin's story is that it seems to combine the lives of Susan Arnold and Abigail Cook Arnold, with suggesting that Abigail Arnold's spirit haunting the Conjuring House because she took her own life in the barn. However, Susan Arnold, the woman who actually died by suicide, lived in a completely different property several miles away. So given that no Abigail Arnold ever died by suicide while living at the Conjuring House, the only Mrs. Arnold that could be haunting the estate would be the 93-year-old Abigail, who died of old age on the farm in 1869. So that's the one I'd mentioned near the beginning, because what they're saying is that Abigail hung herself and things like that. Now, thank God you get people like Kenny Biddle and the girl from Truth or Demons who dig for things like this, because, and if you dig for the records yourself, I mean, it tells you. So don't buy people that, I mean, you can buy Andrea Perrin's books or listen to her all you want, but actually, when it comes to true facts, and that's what I want to hear. I want to hear true historical facts, who stayed in the house, and we see just now. I have met the one of the original owners from this flat at the time they bought this flat, and they only bought it for £1,000 at the times. Now that compared to what it would be now, it's wow. You know what I mean? It's like wow, and we've had many conversations, and I like speaking to the gentleman and his family. So yeah, you do me. I like when it cuts. See when it hang me, I'm very into history, and I like to know the truth. So that's why I like to try and watch things like Truth or Demons or Kenny Biddle or other people that do history facts, true facts. So as Abigail Arnold, a malevolent benevolent presence. To add to confusion, there seemed to be inconsistencies in how Andrea Perrin was depicted Abigail Arnold over the years. She really has. I don't think she's went back on things that's been in her book, and now people like Elton Castee, and it's not, I mean, do you know, it's to do with, I mean, it's to do with because this is what they've been told, and that's what they believe, because they'll listen to what Andrea says, and or what's been there or in the films or whatever. So, and they'll portray that as it is. I mean, like the twins, Sam and Colby, when they first went to the Arnold estate, it was Bathsheba Sherman, and I can't remember, they didn't really mention anything about Abigail, but now everything's about Abigail and things like that. So, in the first two volumes of your book, Perrin seems to believe that Bathsheba Sherman was a malevolent spirit tormenting her family, painting as a hateful and bitter witch who, as mistress of the house, felt threatened by the Perrin's mother, Carolyn. Meanwhile, Perrin describes the spirit of Mrs. Arnold as a presence of comfort and caring, who never meant to frighten or disturb, and a protective influence in otherwise scary place. Now, she contradicts herself. I mean, now she says, oh, we knew it was nothing to do with Bathsheba Sherman, and we're glad that there's a new. Either Bathsheba Sherman never stayed on that bit of land. She stayed miles away from where that farm was. So I'd love to know how she magically stayed there. She had her own farm with her own family. Nothing to do with that. So, and then it was then she was blaming Abigail for being terrorising the family and things. So she kind of contradicts herself all the time. That's why I'm saying, do you think the place is got spirits in it? Yeah, but it's not what people are making it out to be, and that's a shame. In the book, Perrin also claimed that Bathsheba Sherman was an Arnold, and she'd lived in the Arnold estate. However, records indicate that the Sherman had never been born to Ephraim Thayer and Tanner Taft, meaning she was not an Arnold. In fact, she had never lived in the Arnold estate at all. She grew up on the Thayer estate and later moved to the Sherman estate after marrying Judson Sherman. There we go. Told you. Furthermore, there is no evidence that she was ever a witch, nor that she ever murdered a child. In 2014, when Perrin published her third volume on the hauntings, she seemed to have shifted her stance. This is when I was saying, can you listen to this Perrin? I mean, she's the complete aspect. It's like the same with the Wardens as well. The lies, the total lies between the lot of them. It's just wrong to use people and sit and saying they've hung themselves, they've done this, they've done that. I know Josh, Exploding in Josh, if I remember rightly, I remember watching his videos on the Conjuring house when it was Cody and his wife. It had it before nuez, and they found, if I remember rightly, soldiers' headstones. Then that get made into something. So it's honestly so bizarre. And you're like, just stop all the lies. Actually do your digging and tell the truth. For once, but I don't think any of these people can tell the truth. Actually tell the truth when it comes to historical facts. People are watching you for actually facts. The place. Tell it's got spirits in it, but it's not haunted and it's not got demons in it. It's nothing at all. So stop lying to people. Stop it. It's actually getting ridiculous now. All this for some amount of money. And I bet that house sells for millions as well. I mean, if I had the money, I'd buy that. And just open it up as a museum and hand it over to the residents. So that's what I would personally do, and let them tell the true facts. Let Kenny Biddle come in and do the true facts of that building. So, because somebody like Angela Perrin would tell just more lies. Obviously, in 2014, when Perrin published her third volume in The Hauntings, she seemed to have shifted her stance, suggesting the paranormal investigator Lorraine Warren had incorrectly named Bathsheba Sherman as her family's tormentor after supposedly hearing the name Bathsheba in a psychic vision while investigating the Perrin's case. In 2001, Global News interviews Perrin said that Lorraine and the Conjuring films gave Bathsheba Sherman a really bad rap and unfairly blamed her for the alleged evil happenings in the house. They did. Both did. They really did. I was gutting what happened to that Bathsheba's grave. You do not destroy a grave because you're a film. There's no need for it. No need. Leave people's graves alone, even if they did do wrong. It doesn't mean you destroy it. In reality, Perrin said the entity haunting and taunting my mother had a broken neck and was likely Miss Arnold, found hanging in the barn in 1797 at the age of 93. There are more inconsistencies. Now remember what I said to you and read out about the date that she died. Right? The problem with this, of course, is that there reportedly was no Miss John Arnold found hanging in the barn in 1797. There was certainly an Abigail Arnold who lived in Rhode Island between in the 18th and the 19th century, but is her restless spirit still drifting through the Conjuring house? For now, that remains a mystery. After reading about Abigail Arnold and the real Conjuring story, obviously it's the same with Annabelle doll, so please be careful what you read about things. What do you think of the Conjuring house? Do you believe anything to do with Bathsheba Sherman was a witch? Do you believe Abigail Arnold killed herself on that farm. Do you believe anything that the Perrin family said or what the Warrens said? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Now, there is go and subscribe to Kenny Biddle and Truth for Demons, because I'll tell just now, you want facts, go to there. And as I said, the Arnold estate is up for sale at the moment. It's going to auction because obviously now it's everywhere does auctions and it's not just for English, so you've got to bid for a Lincoln house, which will go for all sorts. Because obviously she would have owed money to everybody and their granny. So I do wish Jacqueline Nunes all the best. I hope that she gets her mental health sorted, and I hope whoever buys that does not destroy the history of that building, because it's so unfair. If you want to tell facts about a building, it's the same way. Go watch Jason Hawes, right? I know he's related to Satori, but he's all about facts for when it comes to history as well, right? So, but as other people, they're not. And as much as I like Elton, that they're stuck on what they've been told and not going into deep dive in the real true facts. They're only believing what the Warrens have said, and it's a shame. They're only believing what the parents said or Jacqueline Nunes says. So, or Cody and Satori or whatever it said. So please, please, please do your historical fact checks when it comes to places. Don't believe everything that's in a movie, because that's not true when it comes to that building, that beautiful building. It's a gorgeous building. I mean, it was built a way back before the 18th century. So, and it needs to be taken care of. And I hope and pray that somebody does look after that building, because I want to be trying checking up. Go to subscribe to Jake Arts, because it was actually through him that I found out that the Conjuring house is actually going up for auction. So, but I thought I'd put my wee bit in with the Conjuring house, and so I'm all about facts and historical. Do I believe in spirits? Of course I do. With these spirits will be annoyed at the fact that their stories are like Bathsheba be annoyed at the fact, but did they no? It's like they just laugh it off. Just because to me, if that was me, I'd be like that. Tell all your lies all you want, because everything's going to come to light, and it is coming to light because people like Truth for Demons, Kenny Biddle, Jason Hawes as well. There's more like Jake Hart, Side Eye Guy, Shape. I mean, there's plenty more. It's these are the people you want to, anyway. Paranormal, watch your paranormal channels. Remember, they're only entertainment. There's people that don't rely all the time on the devices. Use the devices if you want, up to yourself. But don't sit and tell lies that uh, because you do not scientifically know if that is a spirit touching that. None of us do, until it can be scientifically proven that a spirit is touching that. Can I hear spirit? Yeah, I can. And I see things sometimes as well. So but I wouldn't go out and sit and tell people I've seen this, that, and other thing, because I keep it to myself. But is the parents and the Warrens compulsive liars? Yes, they are. And but it's up to yourself if you want to believe them or not. But I don't. I mean, I've even gone back and forth on that wee bit. It's telling you the facts on it, what I've read. So do your research on these things. I mean, even with the Warren Museum being bought, the neighbours are really not happy with what's going on with that bit of property, because it's going to bring traction which they've not had. I understand it's a business that Elton's running, and I understand that, but I think Elton, you need to not be checking people's videos. It's each to own if you what people want to come in and speak about Ed and Lorraine Warren as they want. You can't tell people what they can and can't say on their videos because that's wrong. Because I certainly, as an individual, wouldn't do that to you. And I think I love your TFIL videos, but I'm telling you just now, please don't do that to people because you will lose business rather than making business. But if you want to tell facts, I mean, it's like the fact is the DIR60 is just a bunch of, it's a broken device. A broken device. It's, don't believe it, and anybody tells you about that when they're using it. It's broke. And you're not supposed to hold a recorder because all you hear is ruffling. See, when people are moving their hands and they're moving it like this, what you hear is traction of your jacket or a bit of clothing, or you'll hear your foot, and you'll hear that noise, and it'll come through something else within the recorder. So, and I did see that, Elton, and they did like that because, but they still use it. But that's up to them. I mean, but again, they only started using that a good few years ago. So because obviously they've seen other people using it, so obviously they believe what other people said about that as well. It's up to them to believe. One day they will. One day they will. But Elton just loves to. Elton loves the paranormal. And I mean, see, when I say he's liking to, he wants to prove more and more and more, and he'll get more and more devices to try and prove that something's there. And but it's up to him if he believes or in these devices or not. It's like anybody. As I said, I do like Elton Castay's TFIL channel because it's vlogging about different places in the world. But I don't believe in them charging people that amount of money for just a single person getting in or checking your videos. I don't think that's just like, that's doing a Jacqueline Nunes, and that's where he's got the idea for. And it'll be Tony that's got him doing things like this because he doesn't want his father-in-law to be looking bad, or his mother-in-law either. So, as I said, do your own fact checking historically when it comes to things like this. I wish the new owners all the best when they buy the Conjuring house. If they can't, if they're going to keep the Conjuring name, I'll just name it the Arnold Estate. But I'm hoping that, well, that they do. But let's see what happens. Send your loving light, and good night.